Hi everyone, it's Fiona Marks here from fionamarks.com, and I am back today with my astrology and parenting series. And in this second part of the series, I'm going to be examining the intergenerational family dynamics that you can examine with astrology. And this is something that came up in the previous series when we're chatting with Amy, the parent coach, and discussing examples. It was something that I really wanted to be able to share with you more fully. So I've asked a couple of guinea pig families if they would be okay if I share their astrology dynamics anonymously. And so over the coming weeks, I've got a few different families to share with you, and I hope that you're going to find it as interesting as I do. So what we are aiming to do through the series for each family is build up a map of these interrelated planetary relationships between the parents and the child, and the parents and their parents. So let's not get overwhelmed by the completed map here, but let's go and get started. So we've got to begin somewhere. Let's start with the mother in the video today, and then we'll work our way through each of the family members. So here is the chart for the mother. We can see that we have an ascendant in Leo, and that is marked by the number 1 here down on the far right column of the numbers. And in the ascendant, we've got Jupiter and the moon. And moving around, we've got Saturn and Rahu in the 2nd house, and Venus in the 4th house. And then what we are interested in talking about today is the 5th house, because the 5th house tells us about our legacy, about our children, and the things that we create that live on after we have passed. So for this chart, when we're looking at a parent, we want to know about their relationship with their child. We're going to go have a look at the 5th house. And we've got several planets in this 5th house of Sagittarius. We've got the Sun, Mars, and Mercury. Let's see what we can say about this 5th house. First of all, we know, because it's Sagittarius, that it is ruled by Jupiter. And then that is a benefic planet, and it is actually the universal karaka or indicator for children. So we're already seeing here that for all Leo ascendants, if you're a Leo ascendant yourself, there's a natural connection between your legacy and children because of this Jupiter connection. And this, having Jupiter as your ruler of the 5th house, is going to mean that as a parent, you're going to have those Jupiter qualities like being understanding and compassionate. That is the kind of parenting style that is going to be comfortable to you. It's going to be a supportive parenting style. As a Sagittarius, it might be you want to educate the child about philosophy, about worldviews, very expansive, broad, and spiritual, meaningful type of education that you want to expose the child to as part of your parenting style. And then what do we notice about this planet Jupiter for this person? It is actually in their the Jupiter, the ruler of the 5th house, is in the 1st house, and Mars, the ruler of the 1st house, is in the 5th house. So we've got a swap here of house lords, really emphasizing the energy between the person's their life path and their creativity, but also because we're speaking pretty much exclusively about parenting here, parenting is going to be really important to this person, something that is part of the fiber of who they are. and something that they're interested in, that they're naturally drawn to. However, the fifth house is hosting some shamed Lajatatiya Vashtas. We've got quite a lot going on. The sun is being shamed by Mars, and this is going to create high expectations, that pressure inside the person. And Mars is also being shamed by the sun. So they're mutually creating discomfort for the person here in the fifth house. And when Mars is shamed by the sun, the person may feel that they know everything that they want to do, that they're very clear about how important things are and that action must be taken. But at the time, something is going to prevent them from doing what they know is right. And that's going to create an internal discomfort and feeling of shame. And now Mercury is being shamed by both Mars and the sun. So, you know, with Mercury receiving that kind of pressure, it's going to want to feel that it should be perfect. It's going to obsess about details. And that could mean that maybe it micromanages the parenting partner. So there's quite a lot of complexity here in the fifth house. And it balances very much with the natural exchange between the first house and the fifth house is going to make children and parenting inevitable for this person. It's just it's something that's going to come to fruition because of that strong connection between Mars and Jupiter exchanging their house rulerships. But at the same time, even though that will feel natural, it's going to be a source of angst for this parent because of the Mars Sun, especially shaming each other, but also Mercury getting in the mix. So let's begin to build our map and put that on some kind of scheme. So if we just summarize that into our map, we can say that the mother, we know from what's going on in the fifth house of the mother's chart that the mother's going to feel inside of herself high expectations of being perfect, of always doing the right action at the right time. And if for some reason not able to do that, you know, that internal feeling of shame or that I should have, so that inner pressure is probably going to be quite intense at times for this person, although that will all be happening on the inside and may not be visible to anyone. And on the outside, the relationship that this parent wants to have with the child is going to be coming through that planet of Jupiter. That is, they're an understanding and compassionate teacher. They're going to be very interested in expanding this person's worldview, bringing in the spiritual and the meaningful. And as Jupiter is a benefic planet, it's going to have that supportive element to it, that and it's going to feel like a real blessing too, because of those exchange between the first house and the fifth house, both trinal houses. So here we have the first part of our family map, and I want you to take a moment now to reflect on your own chart and your own dynamic in your family, and just notice where you can see similarities and differences. And if you've got any questions relating to just this first step in the map, please feel free to be in touch and we can explore those. Okay, but for now, I'm going to stop the recording here as a first bite at our family map, the mother's relationship with the child. And I will see you again for the next video when we bring a bit more detail into this map.